Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. If you've been scrolling your feeds lately, you've probably noticed something feels, well, just different, right? Those perfectly curated, flawless aesthetics, they are vanishing, literally disappearing. Today, we're going to break down the massive paradigm shift happening right now across social media in 2026, where audiences are completely rejecting all that hyper-polished stuff in favor of something totally raw. Let's just quickly look at our agenda for today. We've got the authenticity shift, followed by three massive trends: reality tea, the lock-in mindset, and emotional ROI. Then we'll wrap it up with how you can actually win in June 2026. All right, kicking things off with section 1, the authenticity shift, the death of the old internet. To really understand where we're at right now, we basically have to accept that the internet of 2025 is dead and gone. We have this era of infinite, AI-generated, super polished content, and it has fundamentally changed how we behave as consumers. Because there is so much content, the only thing left that's truly scarce is a reason to believe it. We're moving completely away from the old way, that highly curated, romanticized escapism we used to call the Delulu era. Instead, we are entering the new way, the intentional era. Audiences are demanding unvarnished realism, community accountability, and just raw humanity. Seriously, if your content looks like a traditional polished ad, people are swiping right past it because it just feels completely fake in a world saturated by AI. And look, this matters immensely for your bottom line. Web search volume is projected to drop by a whopping 25% by the end of 2026. Think about that. A quarter of all search volume gone. People are bypassing traditional search engines because they want quick human answers. Social platforms are basically your primary discovery engines now, and the algorithms are heavily favoring creator-driven video to actually answer those user queries. So let's move into section 2. Trend 1, reality, demanding the unvarnished truth. Reality tea is such a fascinating cultural concept. It's exactly what it sounds like. A mix of reality, as in, hey, that's life, and tea, like spilling the latest insider info or lore. It's all about ditching those fantasy feed for grounding, genuinely useful content. We're talking less perfectly lit morning routine and way more spilling coffee all over your laptop while rushing to a meeting. It's about stripping away that stiff corporate facade and just talking to your community like a real, flawed human being. And we can actually see this playing out in the data. Just look at the 235,000 posts sitting under the hashtag #JobLife. It used to be that everyone used work life to post these perfectly arranged coffee cups and romanticized office setups, but not anymore. Creators are completely shedding that polished facade. They're showing the messy, unvarnished realities of returning to the office or working the 9 to 5. That is really tea in action, and it builds incredible trust because, well, it's actually honest. Moving right along to section 3. Trend 2, the lock-in mindset, from passive to active. Okay, so for the past year or so, we heard so much about quiet quitting, right? Or just being in this passive, autopilot, NPC, non-player character kind of mode. Well, the lock-in mindset is the exact opposite of that. Users are totally reclaiming their main character energy. They aren't just endlessly doom-scrolling anymore. They are actively and publicly committing to rigorous goals. We're talking professional goals, creative projects, physical fitness challenges, you name it. And they're seeking out these tight-knit online communities to keep them mutually accountable. To give you an idea of the sheer scale here, there are over 648,000 posts under the locked-in hashtag. That is a massive group of people aggressively holding each other accountable online. A really brilliant practical application of this that we're seeing right now is the 24-hour lock-in experiment. Creators and brands are publicly committing to these massive, grueling 24-hour sprints, like a massive coding marathon or building a product from scratch, and they're streaming the entire raw journey. It's exhausting, it's totally real, and audiences are absolutely captivated because they get to be active participants in the messy process rather than just passive viewers of a finished product. Which brings us to section 4, trend 3, emotional ROI, the end of impulse buying. We've completely shifted away from the little treat impulse buy era. It's fading fast, and it's being replaced by what we call emotional ROI, a return on investment. Shoppers today absolutely require brands to justify the why to buy long before they ever actually convert. They're looking for rewards way beyond the physical purchase itself, things like clear value, genuine relevance, and real community connection. Because audiences are fiercely guarding their wallets in 2026, brands absolutely have to rely on trusted tastemakers to earn that meaningful attention. You absolutely have to look at this case study from Audible. They achieved a jaw-dropping 376% higher reach compared to their usual channel average. How did they do it? There was no massive, high-budget ad campaign. Nope. They literally just handed the microphone over to the book talk community and asked them for their 5-star recommendations. They stopped trying to be the ultimate authority and just let their listeners take the lead. There's a quote from this campaign that I think just hits the nail on the head. By letting listeners lead the conversation, Audible transformed from the authority on stories to a brand in the story. Wow. I mean, that perfectly captures how letting your community take the reins builds that deep, emotional ROI that today's audiences are demanding. You don't talk at them. You invite them to participate. You let their genuine enthusiasm become your marketing. All right, final section, Section 5, Winning in June 2026, Strategy and Execution. So, what does this all mean for you? How do you actually build a winning strategy right now? First, you've got to format your videos for answer engine optimization, or AEO. Your content needs to directly solve user queries. Second, make sure you speak your precise keyword phrases in the very first 3 seconds so the AI engines index you properly. Third, and please, if you take nothing else away, let it be this: stop making polished corporate ads. Seriously. Lean heavy into the evidence economy by sharing raw, unedited assets, working drafts, the messy stuff. And finally, partner with smaller, transparent, community-first creators whose audiences actually trust them. To get you started, here are 3 super practical steps you can execute this month. Step 1, do an audit of your audio licensing. Business accounts absolutely must ensure commercial compliance before jumping on any trending sounds. Step 2, embrace algorithmic engagement formats. Try out things like the Wow OK acting challenge to show some real personality, or use stretched word slides in your carousels to bump up those swipe-through rates and retention time. And step 3, make your comment section a creative surface. Don't just post and disappear. Actively invite your community to create culture right there in the replies. This prioritizes the human connection that AI literally cannot replicate. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative question to really challenge how you approach your audience for the rest of the year. Ask yourself honestly, is your brand still trying to sell a polished, outdated fantasy? Or are you stepping up and serving real tea? Because the audiences of 2026 have already made their choice. Now it's time to make yours. Thanks so much for joining me. Now dive into your data and completely rethink how you connect online.